welcome to this YouTube channel, IT on Demand. So today we look at another video, and the last time I talked about how to set up VS Code on your laptop or on your device, whatever device you use. Today we'll be looking at using Python as a calculator, and what we want to focus on are numbers in Python. But before I start, I want to come up with this quote, which will be the theme for this channel. Because again, what makes this channel different? This is not just one of those videos that I don't want this to be just one of those videos that you watch and you just watch videos. I'll tell you this, that I was like that, and perhaps even in certain areas I'm still like that, where you think you're learning something, but you don't learn by just watching videos, right? The difference between someone who began this course and who at the end of the day would know something, and the one who began this course and will be left behind is this, that we learn by doing. We learn by doing, and we do by learning. And so there's no way we would learn without doing what we say we're learning. If I say I'm learning something, I have to do it. And if I say that I'm doing something, it must have been that I learned it from somebody. And so this here, I just feel like I need to start with this, because I expect this channel to be very engaging. If you run into errors, you find yourself not being able to install certain things, or maybe one of the tools that we talked about is still unclear to you, you don't know how to use certain things or to do certain things, I expect you to put it in the comment section below. Just let's make this as interactive as possible, and hopefully I can guide you into this world of programming with the little that I know. So without further stressing on things, I would go into Visual Studio Code. So the last time I told you how to launch VS Code and the necessary tools you need to install the extensions you need to make VS Code, which is an editor, a code editor, to become an IDE, which is an integrated development environment. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll refer you back to that particular video, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below, and you should also see it linked up somewhere. All right, so let's get started today. Let me just begin by looking at this program again. And if you recall that we looked at this program and we were like, okay, we wrote this program to talk about someone who has a store and has just employed someone who doesn't know mathematics, and you've written this program, designed it, and it tells the user what sort of things to do. And maybe I should just start again by running this program just to refresh your memory in case you have forgotten what we did with this. Python single shopper, and I hope you haven't forgotten how to launch this. Python single shopper.py. What item did the customer buy? Shoe. How much is the item? $50. How much did the customer pay? $100. And the customer purchased shoe and paid $100. Please give the customer a balance of $50. And if you notice, one of the things you notice is that we are dealing with numbers here, because the amount the customer paid is a number, right? And the balance that this guy is supposed to give to the customer as a change or as a balance is also a number. So how do we deal with numbers in Python? So I'll just walk you through a little bit of, and I'm going to clear this, and I will use the terminal for some time, just to show you certain things we can do here with numbers. So I will launch the Python interpreter in the terminal. So all I just need is just to do Python, and I'll strike the enter key, and I get this. I think this is the very first video tutorial that I made in this series. And if you haven't watched that, you can go back to the very first video. I can also link it up here somewhere. So if while we are here, you can do something as simple as 2 plus 2. And you see the output almost immediately. And you do something like 50 minus 10. You see the output immediately, right? And these are basic mathematical operations that we perform. Let me just remark that here, or I think I should create a new file here. And by the way you create a new file here is look at this new file. And if you can't find this, you can right click on this place and you'll see new file. So whichever one you choose, you can choose to use this icon here, which is new file. When you do that, type in numbers.py. So remember that in PyCharm, we didn't need to include the .py. But when you're in VS Code, if you're creating a new file, you need to specify what type of file that is, because VS Code works with multiple programming languages. So let's forge ahead. So and I believe that everyone watching this video knows that we have some basic operators in mathematics. You have plus, you have divided by, you have multiplication, and then you have subtraction, right? And so these four things, these four operators, we can also use them in Python. And as you can see, I already did 2 plus 2. I can also do 50. I did 50 minus 10. If we do 2 times 5 and you strike the enter button, you get the enter key, you get 10. We can also do 10 divided by 2, and that would give us, strike the enter button, and you see 5.0. Now, one thing to notice is that if you need, and of course, we'll look at this, but I feel like I can just talk about it now. So if you notice that when we did 10 divided by 2, we get 5.0. And you're wondering that 10 divided by 2 should give us 5. So in Python, it turns out that if you want this 10 divided by 2 as an integer, you use that // and then 2. And that gives you the integer value of that division. But if you don't make it twice, if you don't use the / twice, what you get is the floating point value of whatever you divide by. And this is very much useful, especially in cases where you want to know, maybe you've heard when people do 10 divided by 3, you say, okay, I just want to know the integer value of what 10 divided by 3 is. And in that case, you just do 10 // and 3. And you strike the enter key. This gives you that value, which is 3. And by the way, this is called floor division. So I think I should let me just call them here. This is plus, this is used for addition. Then again, this is comment here. This, and I would say another one, we have plus, so I don't confuse you, plus for addition, this for subtraction, and we go this for multiplication, and I do this, I do what else, this for division, and this // for floor division. And one more that I will talk about is the modulo operator, which is obviously for remainders. If you've heard of that remainder, this is what we use to find remainder, but it's called the modulo operator. So this is for remainder, or it's also called modulo operator. But yeah, it's for remainder actually. All right, so that here, these are the basic operators we have, and let me talk about one more. So in case you want to find the square of a particular, so this is used for square, or raised to power, actually I should say raised to power. So you can say 2 raised to power 3, and that gives you 8. And as you can see there, we have 8. So 2 raised to power 8 gives 2 raised to power 3 gives 8. And let's see if we, of course, you know that 10 modulo 3 would give us what? And 10 modulo 3 would give us 10 divided by 3, and whatever is remaining there, and that should be 1. So if you divide 10 by 3, we should get 3 remainder 1. And that's because 3 goes in 10 3 times, and it's going to have 1 more left. And let's see that here in action. So the way to get this 1 is by doing 10 modulo 3, and we get that result there, which is 1. And so these are the basic operators you have in this. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, these are the basic operators you have. But in the next video, I will talk about how to really structure these things, because, so say for instance, we have this operation where we do 3 plus 5 multiplied by 2. In what order do this get executed? And so say for instance, is this the same thing as this 3 plus 5 multiplied by 2? Are they the same thing? So this is what we will continue with in the next video. I don't want this to be too long, but just practice and play around with these numbers, because this is where it starts. I mean, this is just the basics. This is the beginning of everything. So practice and play around with this, and make sure that you're getting the correct result, the correct output. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.